Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It is Denise Salcedo, but I am not alone here today. First and foremost, I want to introduce to you my guest for today. She is Alex Lajas. You guys know her as Queen of the Ring, and we are here to chat WWE WrestleMania Backlash predictions. So first off, Alex, how's it going?
It's going well. Finally, a beautiful day in New York City where it's all sunny. Beautiful. I'm doing very well. How are you? How's the boot camp? How's everything?
I'm so glad that you asked me about the boot camp because I'm very happy. Here we go. Breaking news. I am down 2 pounds.
Yes!
Woo! Hopefully it keeps going. My goal is to lose 15 to 20 pounds in 13 weeks. It is very difficult. I wanted to die the third day. And then today's what's my day off from the boot camp, but I was went for a walk and all of that good stuff. But
okay.
Enough about me, enough about that. Alex, I'm very happy to have you on the show here today. And I want to welcome everybody here today. I appreciate everybody who's coming in here. I really wasn't sure what the interest was honestly going to be like for this pay-per-view. And this is not a huge pay-per-view per se. Alex, how do you kind of feel about the builds, the lead up to WrestleMania Backlash? Do you feel that maybe I'm underselling it a little bit? Do you feel hyped for the show?
No.
I wasn't sure if you were like going to be like completely honest, or if you were going to kind of like maybe walk around it a little bit, be like a little bit more polite.
You know
Yeah.
me. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be brutally honest. I am looking forward to watching this show via Twitter and everybody else's reactions. I think this is, it's some repeats from WrestleMania from what we've seen. Honestly, I'm just missing the swinging hooks from Backlash.
I
Remember
think
the
so
set?
too.
Yeah.
I think so too. Oh my gosh, I used to love that. Like the little knife looking things. I'm like, I don't know what they're called. They're
Like
blades, right? They were blades.
Yeah, I think they were just like bladed hooks. And anytime like a match like was on the outside and then they would like throw each other into the hooks, I'm like, oh my God, someone's gonna unalive themselves. Like
Exactly. Here's the thing though, like we only even have like 6 matches to talk about. I would say like 95% of this card is a match that we saw at WrestleMania. So it kind of feels like this is the part 2 of what you already saw from the actual, WrestleMania event. So it kind of does bum me out a little bit that we're getting so many rematches, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stay positive. I'm going to look forward to the show. And you know what? It's going to be the best, whatever we can make of it, right?
Right.
Let's go ahead and get some thoughts in here. Let's see what you guys are thinking in regards to this pay-per-view, and then we're going to go ahead and jump right into our thoughts in regards to every single match here. But we got a comment here from the Gaming Noob who says, a very low interest pay-per-view, but you're the draw for this review, Denise. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming in here and showing some love on here. Pomi Wrestling says, more hyped for all the prediction videos than actual Backlash. We got Devin here who says, make no mistake, my interest isn't in the show, more so in supporting these two. Thank you so much to Devin for sending that in. I appreciate that as well. So let's go ahead and hop right into this. Let's kick things off with this first match here. We have Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss. Now, Alex, in terms of a scale of 1 to 10, where would you say your interest is in regards to this particular match?
Probably a 2.
You know what? That's not too bad. That's not too bad.
Yeah, it has a little bit of my interest because they're finally having a match together. There's some riff in their relationship, so I am looking forward to seeing who goes on top. I'm not sure what to really look forward to in this match. I kind of wish there was a silly stipulation in this match, so maybe my excitement can bump up to a 5. But overall, I want to see Happy Corbin win. I just want something more for Corbin. I loved him back in the day, like even when he was just depressed Corbin, that was still relatable.
I think everybody loved depressed Corbin.
I know. know. It was just like really like that's me on screen. I'm not as messy, but I like have some low days as well, and it was very relatable. Then he went
Hell
to
yeah.
Vegas, and then he like struck gold.
I think what they should have done is they should have let it played out a little bit more because people were legitimately enjoying that. Like I was having a grand old time where I'm like, poor depressed Baron Corbin was, like you said, relatable to me as well. And people like it was a lovable character. And I think that was the first time that I think the Baron Corbin character felt sort of lovable in a way. But in regards to this match, it's really hard to tell because Madcap Moss, they portray him as the guy who is getting over. But when you pay close attention, a lot of it is because they pipe in the sound, the cheers for Madcap Moss. So you don't really know, is this guy legitimately getting over, or you just want us to believe this guy is getting over?
Yeah. It's very hard to gauge it, especially online as well, because I feel like a lot of people are still super behind Corbin because again, like he was so relatable with the depressed Corbin, and even like even emo Corbin was still somewhat relatable as well. And I feel like they're trying to make
Madcap Moss.
Madcap Moss. That's a tongue tie in
It
itself.
is. It really is.
I feel like they're trying to make him a thing, and everyone's just like, he's probably not going to be a thing. Who knows? But my predictions for winning this match is definitely Happy Corbin. I want him to win.
So I'm actually opposite of you. I think it should be Madcap Moss. And the only reason I say this, and I get it, like they probably want to drag out this feud a lot more, but the only reason why I say Madcap Moss is because I want Madcap Moss, I want this to end. I want Madcap Moss to get his win, and that's it. Let's call it a day. Let's tie a pretty bow around it, and that's it. So I'm actually predicting that it's going to be Madcap Moss.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you're in the chat, let us know. What do you think? Happy Corbin or Madcap Moss? We got a super chat here from the very lovely Taylor Cannon who says, don't really care about the show, but wanted to show some support to you both. I love it. And I'm kind of sad, though, that that's the theme of today's show. It's like nobody cares, but we're here to support. I love it.
Everyone's just happy that we're finally together, which I love.
Because we've done shows together, but I don't think it's ever been like one-on-one.
Yeah.
There's always been somebody else there, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. No more cock blocking, no more Alex and I. We are here to do the show together. All right. Moving on to our next match, we got Bobby Lashley versus Omaz, and with MVP in the corner of Omaz. Let's get your thoughts on this, Alex. How do you feel about the incorporation of MVP added to Omaz?
I love MVP. I love his whole like run that he's had recently. I feel like he's really putting himself on the list of just good managers, and even in recent time, because like there aren't a lot of managers, you know, and there's not a lot of good managers as well. And so I love MVP. I love what he brings on screen, and I love how he elevates each superstar he's paired up with. So him paired up with Omos, like I think this is definitely what Omos need. I know a lot of people were really digging him with AJ Styles, and it's AJ Styles. How can you not love AJ Styles, you know? But I think this is going to be something that's really good for Omos to be paired up with MVP. And, you know, he does need a mouthpiece, you know, because he's a big old guy. Big old guys need mouthpieces, you know, because they're too busy beating people up.
And you mentioned mouthpieces, like even though MVP is a great mouthpiece, like with the recent news of Malcolm Bivens being released, like he's honestly someone that could have easily like added so much to Omaz. I legitimately think like had they put him in there, especially because he's so funny and he's a different mouthpiece, I think, than MVP. MVP is more of a little bit of like that swagger that like he brings that like cool factor to whoever he's representing, versus Malcolm Bivens, I think, brings more of the likability factor. So I think that's something that could have definitely helped Omaz, but Omaz legitimately needed MVP. And so I'm really glad that they made the decision to actually pair them up together. But in terms of this feud, though, I just don't care, because I'm like, first of all, we've already seen Bobby Lashley defeat Omaz, and then they did this whole arm wrestling challenge thing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, he beat him there too. So here's my big question. Why do I want to see this match again if it's gonna, it should just be Bobby Lashley defeating Omaz again? Like, I don't want to see Omaz defeat Bobby Lashley. I have no interest in that.
Yeah, I going into this match, it just seems like who is benefiting from this match, because Bobby Lashley definitely needs this win because like you said, Omos has just been like steamrolling him a little bit, and if Omos wins, then it's like, yes, he's big, old, like probably the new almighty,
Exactly. We got a super chat here from Tom. Thank you so much to Tom, who says, more collabs, please. Love you guys. Thank you so much for sending this in here. Let's get some more thoughts in here. This is from Jeremy Ra, who says, MVP wasn't supposed to manage Omaz. Bivens was wanted for this row. We have a comment here from, we got more people. Leo says, I'm only here to support the girls because this pay-per-view is really only a copy and paste of WrestleMania matches. Oh, man. Manny Sanchez says Omaz needs more than a mouthpiece. He needs a better trainer. Ooh, the savage shots coming in here. Unfortunately, like I get it though. Like Omaz necessarily hasn't been a breakout in terms of his in-ring performances, but it's like we get it. He's a big guy and he wrestles like a big guy, and it's kind of like there's nothing else there. But so who did you say that you wanted to get the official win for this one, or who do you think it should be?
I think MVP should just come in and beat both of them up. That's what he should do.
I'm going to go with Bobby Lashley for my pick, just because I'm like, let's just not, again, let's just, that's my theme for today. Let's get this over and done with. That's it. Oh, man, I feel really bad. All right, so let's go ahead and hop into our next match. But before we do, since we only have a couple of matches to actually talk about, I want to take a second. If you are new to this channel, first of all, thank you so much for tuning in. But if you're new here, don't be shy. Click that subscribe button. Come join this channel. I'm on my way to 60,000 subscribers, so it really means a lot to me if you guys would click that subscribe button. And I will be here. I'm gonna do a WrestleMania Backlash watch along, Alex, and I hope that it's not terrible. I've never done a watch along on this channel, so I'm like, hopefully it's not.
How are you preparing?
I'm just gonna hop on here and just do it. Like that's it.
Are we getting pizza? Are we getting ranch with pizza?
I wish that was the old Denise. The new Denise is probably gonna be sitting here eating egg whites.
Some celery, some carrots.
Yeah, it's gonna be very sad. I'm just gonna be sitting here like Bugs Bunny with my carrot. I'm like, what up, Doc? That's literally gonna be me on this post show. I don't even like carrots.
Oh no.
This is gonna be terrible. But anyways, if you guys want to come hang out with me, hopefully it's not a boring watch along. You're more than welcome to come on in. Oh man, here we go.
It's never boring with you. You know that.
I hope not. I actually told my fiance that I was gonna do a watch along, and he's like, "You're gonna do a watch along for WrestleMania Backlash?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't get to do these often because I'm either at the show or
everywhere,
all of that,
yeah.
right?" He's like, Denise, he's like, you want to know what your watch along's gonna look like, right? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, it's literally gonna be like this. And he was just like, I was like, dude, thanks a lot. I was like, that's not going to be my watch along. So I'm hoping for a good show here.
It's gonna be
all right, but let's go ahead and move on from here. Our next match that we have here is AJ Styles versus Edge. And obviously it's the new version of Edge that we've been seeing. The added stipulation in this, or rather, factoid here, is that Damian Priest is banned from ringside. So, Alex, I will start things off here. How do you feel about the presentation of Edge, rather in the last couple of months?
I love it because I was such a fan of the Brood back in the day, and it's almost like Brood 2.0 a little bit. And of course you have Damian Priest, like my Boricua brother. Like, it is just written in the stars for me. I love it so much. I love the presentation. I love what they're delivering each and every week. I'm sad that Damian Priest is banned from ringside, but I understand. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Again, this is a match that we've seen at WrestleMania, so a copy and paste, if you will, according to the chat. And I get that, but this is also a match that I would like to see again. This is a feud that I love.
Really?
I mean, it's a dream match. AJ Styles versus Edge,
I hated the match at WrestleMania, though. Were you a fan of that match?
I actually liked that match. But
Okay,
then again, like, I think in placement with that WrestleMania match, I feel like that match should have went on earlier on in the night. I think the placement of that match was just a little too late, and I feel like by the time we got to that match, the crowd was a little like, all right, I'm getting a little tired here, you know? So I understand that, but I liked the presentation. I love the entrance that Edge came out with. I was a sucker for it. But again, like, for me, at least, this is a dream match that I never thought we would see a few years ago. So I like that they're going back into it again. Maybe, hopefully, this match on Sunday is better than their match that they had at WrestleMania. But either way, I'm just loving what Edge is doing. I'm an edger, I guess.
Oh my God, I'm polar opposite of you, Alex. Like, I've always been a big Edge fan. This has nothing to do with Edge himself. Like, I'm a big Edge fan too. Maybe not as big as you, but I'm big enough, I would say. Mm-hmm. And but I just haven't been liking a lot of what they've been doing with him as of late. And the reason for that is, like, a lot of these promos, it's all about, the mountains of omnipotence and all of this good stuff. And it's just like, it's those promos that go in through one year and come out the other, where nothing is legitimately sticking there. And so I haven't been a fan of this portrayal of Edge and what he's been doing. So for me, it's been a miss. But I will agree with you on this, though, because you mentioned that, the placement for this match at WrestleMania, I do think had a big it played a huge part in it, because being there at this point during the match, I was excited, but I'm not gonna lie to you, this was the point of the match where I was like, man, I'm hungry, I gotta go get some food. I left during the entrances, I went to go get coffee, and I came back, and the match never won back my attention. And so I do think that maybe it'll be different this time, where I might be a little bit more engaged. Again, we only have 6 matches that have been announced so far for this show. So I do think this could be one of those matches where it's like, this could be, like you said, a better version of what we saw at WrestleMania. I do wish they would add, again, I do think that this, given that it's a rematch, I would like an actual, real, legitimate stipulation. I don't care what it would have been, just anything, just to kind of spice things up a little bit and make you feel like you're watching something different versus, again, a control copy, control paste side of type of thing. So I think in terms of this may be a match that I think I'm on the fence about. It could be either boring the way that I thought it was at WrestleMania, or it could be phenomenally great, and worth watching WrestleMania Backlash.
Yeah, for sure. Like, maybe like a little stipulation, like a simple one, like a last man standing, something like that. But who knows?
Yeah. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and see what people are saying in regards to this match. This is from Chris Blas, who says, do you think AJ Styles versus Edge should open the show? I'm hoping that this match is a clean finish, but I'm thinking a new member from Judgment Day will interfere in the match. If there were going to be a new member, is there anybody that sticks out to you in terms of who it would be?
I know a lot of people were saying that they would like to see Rhea Ripley in this.
That's right.
Yeah, and I would also like to see that as well. Like, throw some women into the mix. I know that they can't go toe to toe, but I think now she's in her element where she could be paired up with those two. I would love to see that. But also, I think this match should probably open up the show, right? Let's just kick it off.
And I think given like the changes that we've been seeing in Rhea Ripley on Raw, where she's like, it didn't work out with Nikki Ash, and then it didn't work out with Liv Morgan, and she's angry, she can go join these 2 other angry fellas. So they could definitely do something with that. I think that would be a really cool thing. In terms of it opening the night, I feel like it wouldn't be bad at all, but I have a feeling they would probably open with the 6-man match. I think that would probably be something that they could open the show up with, because it would be like a really fun match. But this match would not be bad in terms of opening it up, because I feel like I would feel like immediately more invested. Like, you don't have the issue of the crowd being tired or anything like that. Your full attention is going to be in this opening match. But we'll see what happens, and we'll see what they end up opening up with. But thank you so much to Chris for sending this in and raising the question. But now, here we go. Let's go ahead and move on because after this, we do have the six-man match. And this is Drew McIntyre and the Raw Tag Team Champions RK Bro versus the undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns and SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos, in a six-man tag team match. So this match was supposed to be entirely different prior. This was supposed to be a unification for the tag team titles, and they ended up changing it after, weeks of basically leading in this one direction and then completely changing it and it becoming a six-man. How do you feel about this? Do you wish that they would have stuck to what they were doing prior, where it would have been just the Usos and RK Bro to unify the tag team titles, or are you happy that they're going about it this direction?
I'm happy that they're going about it this direction because I feel like if they're going to unify the titles, I think it needs a little bit more of a bigger buildup. And considering that Hell in a Cell is next month, that would actually be a pretty good match to see in Hell in a Cell. So I'm hoping that with this match in itself, it at least elevates that aspect with the tag titles, with the Usos and RK Bro. And yeah, I think with this match, that bloodline is so hot right now. They are just so hot. And I'm really looking forward to this match, to seeing them tag up together and just dominating.
Oh, so you're definitely going for them just to get this win and grab the win.
Yeah, I think so. I think it might be a clean finish, and I would like to see Roman get the pin, possibly on Drew, and maybe build that up a little bit more. But again, with unifying the tag titles, I think it's cool because Roman unified the main titles, so to have the Usos go after that, I think that would be really exciting. But again, I think with a 1 month build, especially right after WrestleMania, I feel like we just need a little bit more just so we can care, because again, unifying titles, I just feel like is a big deal, and I think if we accomplish that and we execute it in Hell in a Cell, it would be gold.
At least you think it should be a big deal, though. It should be a big deal to unify the tag titles, right?
It should.
And Taylor points out that all the titles should be defended here. Here's the reason why, okay. So, and Aaron also points out that he's annoyed that we still don't get the unification match, etc. I was instantly kind of a little bit damn, we were going to unify the titles. Personally, I thought they should have just done it already personally. But I thought, okay, you know what? I like the direction we're going in. But the only reason why I didn't totally hate the idea of this trios match, the only reason I didn't hate the idea was because they don't have very many big marquee matches right now left for Roman Reigns. And so we know that one of those is going to be Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. Now, in terms of them building up towards it, you don't want to just give it away, for example, on this pay-per-view, on this WrestleMania Backlash pay-per-view, and then not have anything else to follow up with Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. So personally, I kind of like that we're doing this six-man. I just wish we wouldn't have gotten the tease per se of the unification of the titles. They should have just gone straight into the six-man, worked the story there, and then afterwards, that way, later on, we could essentially get Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns in a legitimate story, because we know that's the direction they're going, and that's also the only direction that they really have right now. There really isn't very many big challengers left for Roman Reigns. So I'm looking forward to this match because I know that it's going to be a good match. If I were going to open up the show with anything, it probably kind of would be this, but at the same time, it's shit. How do you have Roman Reigns in the opening match, and not, somewhere in the main event? But because I know this match is going to be fun and it's going to be, a lot of action, that's the only reason why I would say, or why I would consider this one essentially opening up the show.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there, because again, when you first said this opening the show, I was like, oh, really? But also it's going to be an action-packed match, so just kick it off hot, Hopefully it does open the show.
And let's go ahead and let's get some comments here. First of all, thank you so much to Pradeep Kanwar for showing some love from Nepal. I really appreciate you coming and watching. That's the best thing about doing stuff virtually, that you meet people from all over the world, which I think is really awesome. Let's get this comment in here from Doc, who says, this decision sucks to not do unification. Maybe Roman and McIntyre brawl and get ejected and it gets restarted as a unification unification to close the show and start the singles program. Convoluted, sure. I get where you're going with this, but I feel like it would just be, like you said, a little bit too convoluted. And I'd rather have them do this, have this really fun, have this really fun match. And you know what? Give us these, further teases that, hey, we are going to be seeing Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns down the line. So in terms of who should win this match, I think it's got to continue the story. It's definitely got to be the bloodline. So I feel it. I agree with you. It has to be them on this one. Alrighty, so now let's go ahead and move on. We only got 2 more matches to talk about. This is going to be a very quick post show. But once again, guys, just a friendly reminder, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, make sure you guys subscribe. This channel is run entirely by me. I'm hoping to grow it to 60K and beyond. And I'm about less than 2,000 subscribers away. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button. We have a bunch of shows coming up and lots of things planned for this channel. So I don't know why I'm saying we. It's literally me. I'm like, we have a lot of stuff planned. I'm like, who's we?
It's
we
you,
is me.
Denise, it's you and all the roles that you play on this channel. Me, the host, me, the director, me, the producer, me, the writer, we.
Yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, we. I'm like, who the frick is we? Like, it's literally me. I have a lot of stuff planned for this channel, but let's go ahead and continue on from here, guys. Let's get into this match. This is another rematch rather, and it is the SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair taking on Ronda Rousey in an I Quit match. So this is really the only match I would say that has a legitimate stipulation that is different from what we saw at WrestleMania. Before we get into your thoughts about who you think is going to win, how did you feel about Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania?
I was a little disappointed during that match. I wish that it was giving a little bit more, and it was probably the build up for it. Like, I just wasn't very excited going into it. But then they are continuing this storyline going into Backlash, and I thought it was really funny how Ronda's like, well, let's make this an I Quit match, and Charlotte's like, I don't want that. And then the graphic the next hour was, well, they're gonna have an I Quit match. It's like, oh no.
It was very quickly decided. Yeah,
it was very quickly decided indeed. But I feel like this is the one match that I'm like kind of looking forward to going into Sunday. I'm always looking forward to any women's match, of course, but it's going to be interesting because this is an I Quit match, and either with Ronda, she gets the title, and I would love to see more opponents going after the title, like people like Xia Li or Shotzi, but I think it would be interesting to see if Charlotte does quit and she's off TV for a little bit, because again, like, I think Charlotte's really, like, she's going, like, she's one of the hottest acts on SmackDown right now, and she was holding the title very well for a while, so it's gonna be an interesting match, definitely.
Yeah, and see, I didn't really care for the WrestleMania match either, but I legitimately think that one really, the placement of that match really hurt that match. And it was just like, when you compare it to the other women's match, which was Becky and Bianca, I mean, it was, the difference in terms of match quality was night and day. And so I genuinely think that their spot on the show really did hurt them. I wish they would have been put on, a separate tonight. They would have separated those 2 matches. So I do think that kind of, took a little bit of my interest away, because it's kind of like, oh, well, I saw it at WrestleMania and I didn't care for this match at WrestleMania. And that's the problem, where I'm like, if you're going to be doing these like copy and paste matches, I want it to be like a match where I'm like, oh man, I enjoyed that match so much at the show. Shit, I actually don't care that I'm going to see it again. And so I do like that they added this I Quit stipulation. In terms of who I actually feel is going to win, I have a feeling like they've been making Charlotte Flair, given the story, like, here, let me pull up this comment, because I think this adds to what I want to say. And this is from Jeremy Bauman, who says, we all know this is going to continue in hell. Hell in a Cell, right? I wouldn't hate it if they made this if this led into Hell in a Cell. But so with that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if they had Charlotte Flair win this, just because lately, she's been doing all of this, this has been like, she's been using all of these excuses, right? So Ronda has essentially been getting the upper hand on Charlotte Flair in all these little interactions, but Charlotte Flair has basically been excusing herself and coming up with reasons why, this and that really wasn't true. So I have a feeling like if this is legitimately the last match between both of these girls, then I would say Ronda Rousey. But if this is going to continue into Hell in a Cell, then I think it's definitely got to be Charlotte Flair, so that Ronda Rousey essentially has that big moment. But with that being said, I do think that the championship under Charlotte Flair right now is it's kind of getting a little stale. So, if we were to see Ronda Rousey as champion, I feel like it would liven things up a bit for that division and for that title picture.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think that's my prediction as well. If it does go to Hall of Fame, Hell in a Cell.
Hey man, let's do it at Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. Let's get the Undertaker out as well. Yeah, if it goes to Hell in a Cell, I would like to see Charlotte win. I think my prediction is just the same as yours. But I would like to see more contenders going after the title, especially deserving ones. And also, when is Bayley coming back?
I know, that's right. That's been something that, a lot of people have been wondering when and if it's going to happen. We'll see. Sheldon Jackson, very kind of you to send in a super chat. Sheldon says, just to go back to Edge and Styles, thought on Styles not winning on a premium live event pay-per-view since the crowd came back at Money in the Bank 2021. If Styles, did I even say who I wanted to win that match? I don't even think I said. I do want to see AJ Styles win this match. Yeah. I think we got so caught up in talking about Edge and AJ Styles that we forgot who we said who even wanted to win. I want to see AJ Styles win. It's kind of the exact same thing that I'm going through with Bobby Lashley and Omaz and Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss, where I'm like, I want to see this, wrap up. And so I want to see, whoever's supposed to win at the end of the day win. That's how I kind of feel about it. So were you going for Edge on that one?
I am always going for Edge.
Oh, okay.
Edge head.
That's awesome. I can't believe this is a prediction show and we forgot to give the actual predictions.
That's amazing. We're having too much fun.
That's true. Thank you so much to Sheldon Jackson, and thank you for also kind of reminding us to actually give the prediction. Yeah. Let's get some thoughts in here. This one is from Doc, who says, I hate to say it, but there's going to be a screwy finish here. I just hope Shayna gets involved somehow. The actual smile on Ronda's face at the Rumble. They need to work together. What do you think on this, Alex?
I would love if Shayna and Ronda, again, they have that history together. So, Ronda used to go to all the PWG shows with Shayna. So, they have a legitimate connection and friendship. I would love to see them going after the tag titles. I would love to see that. And even right now, I feel like Sasha and Naomi, I love them so much, but they need some kind of threat in that division. And that is the threat for them.
No more Natty and Shayna.
Yeah, I don't want that. And I actually love Natty in NXT 2.0. I like her run there. I think she's really good. She's a veteran. Let's treat her like it, And so I love that she went back to, or not really so much go back, but she went to NXT. So I feel like if Shayna and Ronda teamed up and they had some kind of MMA kind of, gimmick going on a little bit, they would be a phenomenal tag team together. So that's what I would like to see.
They would add to each other. I think in different ways they would complement each other. We got some more comments in here. This one's from Taylor, who says, sick of Charlotte and Ronda. It's safe to say Ronda. Who does she feud with after? What happens with Charlotte? We know Vince can't book her without a title. And that kind of goes both ways. Both Charlotte and Ronda, regardless of who wins this match and who becomes champion, it's well, who's next up, Pradeep says that if Bayley returns, have her feud with Ronda. That would be very exciting and fresh to see. Jojo says, Ronda's saying I quit. Vince isn't going to have an MMA fighter say that. Some reason Becky didn't tap out. Same reason Becky didn't tap out to Ronda, says Jojo. Let's get some more thoughts in here. We got Ethan Day thinking that it's going to be a no contest. And Sean Garner says, sorry, but Ronda is not losing. So we got a little bit of like people sort of debating here on what they think is going to happen, but I'm seeing more people in favor here of Ronda Rousey winning. This is from Farouk Amin, who says, I wish Ronda would have a different direction aside for just going for the championship. Well, she is a big star, so you want to put your big stars in that championship picture. If she's not in it at this point, like who else is going to be in it? Mainly right now, just because their roster is so slim. Once they start building up girls, then I would definitely say, yeah, you can move on Ronda Rousey to something that doesn't require the title. Because again, at the end of the day, she's going to be a big star, and people, they have interest at the end of the day. And same thing Sheldon says, if Ronda doesn't win here, where do they go from here? All right, guys. So let's go ahead and continue on. For those of you who watch the show on a replay, let us know what you think. Ronda, Charlotte, and also let us know your thoughts on the other matches as well. But now we are down to one last and final match, and I'm actually looking forward to this one because, again, it's copy and paste, but it's perfectly fine because this was a good match at WrestleMania. It was an exciting match at WrestleMania. So I am looking forward to seeing what they do here tonight, and that's obviously Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. Alex, I'll start off by asking you, how have you felt about Cody Rhodes' return to WWE? How have you felt that's all been going?
I love it because it seems like he's finally happy. It's nice to see him, quote unquote, back home, especially with his legacy, his family's legacy. So I like his run. I mean, golly, when he came out at WrestleMania, like what a moment. Just all of the pyro, just an extraordinary entrance. And even Seth Rollins himself just like selling that reaction of like, whoa, who is this? I don't even know who this is. And they had a really great match together at WrestleMania. So the fact that they're having this match again at WrestleMania Backlash, to me, a little bit, I would like to see something more. I would have loved if that was kind of at WrestleMania, that was somewhat of like an expedition match, more so of like it's the one-off, they're facing off with each other, it's Seth and Cody, that's it, and we weren't going to have that storyline again, because I think that Cody has the potential to uplift other people on that roster, and especially like he's hot right now. I think eventually we are gonna get him facing off against Roman, because to me, I feel like he's the next one up, or at least he's the next one that is somewhat of competition for Roman to go after those titles, maybe even at SummerSlam. But with Seth and Cody now at Backlash, they're two phenomenal performers, and I think that they're going to show out. They always do. But again, I just wish that there was just something more, maybe a stipulation, maybe even throwing somebody else into this feud, because I think Seth has more to deliver with other people on the roster, and the same with Cody, but I'm not really that mad about it, And I think Cody's run right now is really great. I mean, he wants to get cheered and he's getting cheered, I'm a little disappointed to not see that Monday after, or the Raw after WrestleMania, the little platform that they set him up with.
Yeah.
I guess it wasn't working.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he's always, I think Cody's just going to be just fine in Monday Night Raw, and he's been doing a great job so far.
I think it's been very, the direction has been pretty clear, I think, in terms of like, he's coming in, he says he's going for the title, he explains his reasonings as to why, and it's been very, very straightforward. I do wish that in order to keep Cody Rhodes hot, considering that he's, the big commodity that they just got brought back to the company, I legitimately think that having him in a repeat match so soon, personally, to me, is a little bit of a turnoff, just because I'm like, you know what, like Cody Rhodes is supposed to be like, the big thing right now. And so you want to keep him hot. You want to keep things, really, really interesting in regards to Cody Rhodes. I actually think, and this was my whole idea of what they should have done instead, because another guy who had a major match at WrestleMania was Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens coming off of that match with Austin was like red hot. I personally think that they should have gone in, and I know they did this match on Raw. This should not have been a throwaway Raw match. This could have been, with a proper build, this could have been Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes here at WrestleMania Backlash. I think that he should have been the guy, given his match with Austin and, everything that he basically, accumulated from that. I think that he should have been the guy to go and have this match with Cody Rhodes, because I just don't think that you want to have Cody Rhodes in a repeat match so soon. But with that being said, I am a fan of Seth Rollins. I love everything that he's been doing. So in regards to this, I know it's going to be a good match. I just wish it was a little bit different, or that they, again, added some sort of stipulation, anything just to kind of, again, liven things up. But with all of this being said, I think it feels pretty crystal clear that Cody Rhodes needs to and should be getting this win, though. I don't think you want to have Cody lose so soon.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you said that, Denise, that he should go after Kevin Owens, because I've been saying that even on Complex Unsanctioned, where it should have been Kevin Owens versus Cody. And let's like play into that little element of, you know, Kevin Owens did have a relationship with the Young Bucks and everybody in the Elite, you know? So like, let's play that up a little bit on Monday Night Raw in WWE. Like, there's interest there. And again, like, Kevin Owens just came out of such a fun, like, that match at WrestleMania against Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah. I thought I was dreaming. I was pinching myself the whole time. So I thought that would have been such a good matchup for Kevin Owens. Like, that's the next step, and to have him go against Ezekiel. And I mean, Kevin Owens is great.
It's a step down.
Yeah, it's definitely a step down. But like, that's the thing, is that whatever they give Kevin Owens, he's always gonna have some kind of interest from me. But again, I agree with you. I think that, you know, they're going to have a great match, but I think both of them just deserved a little bit better than a repeat.
Agree. Completely agree. Let's get some comments in here. This one is from Victor, who says, I like Cody Rhodes and he had an awesome return, so I think Cody will win the match against Seth Rollins. Doc says, I have a feeling we're going to get 50-50 booking here. I'd love to see a run-in by Triple H, just keeping spaghetti on the wall. That's definitely not going to happen. You know, Triple H is done. He's retired, etc. In terms of 50-50 booking, please don't do it. Like, Cody Rhodes right now needs all, like, if they want to make him, you know, keep him, you know, in this spot, they need to protect him, and he needs, you know, everything that he can get. And I would not suggest 50-50 booking Cody Rhodes, especially not right now. This is a comment from Ethan, who says, it's got a great build between two great athletes, but Seth potentially has a bit more. No respect for the Cody, but I predict Seth, not due to WWE, to longer feud for this year. Okay, I don't got the last sentence, but Ethan is definitely going a little bit more for Seth Rollins here. And this is from the Kyoput, who says, Cody isn't losing unless they have some kind of run-in. Just not looking forward to this, even though I know it will be a good match. And see, and that's the problem. That's the problem. Why? Because we already saw it. You want to keep Cody in fresh matches. So I think that's where they've already kind of made a mistake there. Stan Grubb says, great points. Looking at both Cody and Kevin Owens, they have to have a solid follow-up after really delivering at WrestleMania. Completely agree on all of those items. So there you guys go. That was our WrestleMania Backlash. I was like, what am I saying that right? WrestleMania Backlash. I was going to say WrestleMania 38, and I was like, nope, that passed already. WrestleMania Backlash. Prediction show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. But before we go, just a friendly reminder, I will be here on Sunday doing a watch along, and pray that it is not a boring watch along. So come in, join the chat. Let's have a good time. Come hang out with me for a bit. We'll watch the show together, and let's see how it all plays out. But before that, again, do not forget to subscribe to this channel. And also, I want to give Alex, Queen of the Ring, an opportunity to promote herself. Alex, please tell the people where they can find you and all of that good stuff.
It's a long list, so here we go. So you can find me at Queen of the Ring on Twitter. I am there. Instagram _Queen of the Ring if you want to see some reels and funny stuff there. I do have a wrestling podcast with Complex on Spotify and Spotify Live. We go live every Monday and Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern time, so you can check us out there. Follow us on Complex Unsanctioned. We've had amazing guests so far. We've had Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan. The list goes on, and we're continuing to have great guests on, so definitely check us out. And if you want to get more into Joshi Wrestling, you can follow Church of of Joshi on Twitter and Instagram. We go live Sundays at 12 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/KaylaVision. KaylaVision is my beautiful host. I love her so much. And we recently launched a Patreon, so you can follow us on Patreon. We've got more watch-alongs there. We're really getting into more Stardom and TJPW. So if you also want to get into that, follow us at Church of Joshi on Patreon.
Doing it all, guys. Show Alex some love. As for me, please just subscribe to this damn channel and go to Twitter @ Denise Salcedo. I'm trying to get to 100K by the end of the year, and it is hard. So please make sure you guys come follow there, chat wrestling with me, etc. It's always a good time. Until next time, I'm Denise Salcedo. This is Alex Lajas, and we'll see you guys later. Bye, everyone.